And so for the second discussion forum for each module, you will be having the opportunity to engage in a discussion around a young adolescent novel that we are going to be reading together as a class. And so for the first two modules, that book is going to be Crash. And that book is listed on your syllabus as one of the required resources. And for the second and third module, that book is going to be Nerd Girls. And so you will get an opportunity to examine that book through the lens that we are talking about in that module. So, for example, in the first module, our lens is intellectual and emotional development. And so you will be applying that novel through that lens according to this rubric, if that makes sense. And then on the second week, we'll be doing physical and sexual development. And then you will be, again, applying the novel Crash through that lens as it applies to this rubric. So I hope that that's clear. If it's not, please post questions in the Q&A for us to be able to discuss that. So you'll read a young adolescent novel and consider that novel related to the lens, as I just stated. And for each module, you'll write an initial response related to the literary elements for the novel. And then you'll also comment on the responses of at least two of your classmates. And in that way, this is similar. It's a similar structure to the online general discussion that we will be doing. So let's take a few minutes and look at the initial response. So when you look here, your response is going to consider the novel in light of the topic focus for this module. So that would be, in the first week, intellectual and emotional development of young adolescents, for example. So your response is going to consider the novel in light of that topic focus by substantially connecting the characteristics of young adolescent development to the following literary elements. And so you'll be looking at individual characters and the character development of those characters over the course of the novel. And then secondly, the interactions between characters, so the relationships that the characters have with other characters in the novel, as well as the setting and the plot development. So you want to look at those four in your initial response. And, you can do this. I mean, if you think about the fact that we will be the classes over the course of 4 weeks, of 8 weeks, then 2 of those weeks are devoted to Module 1. So you could probably, even, in this first week, you will obviously have to start reading Crash, but you will be able to do those 4 things related to intellectual and emotional development without having read the whole novel. If that makes sense. So you don't have to have read the whole novel in order to do this for the first week. Presumably by the second module you will be pulling from potentially a different area of the novel. You'll know, having read it all, I would assume. Okay, so you certainly can, but you're not required to read the whole novel in order to post your initial response. Okay, and so those are the 4 literary elements. The points that are available for this first initial response are 18 to 20 if you do all 4 of those things. When you look at the second sort of tier there, you're only doing 2 of those 3, and then the last one is 2 or fewer, but I'm hoping that we will all be in that top tier. Okay, the next thing that I wanted to draw your attention to is that the comment 1, again, you're responding to a classmate's posting in a substantive manner that shows you respect the viewpoint of your colleague. In the last narration of the rubric, we talked about that's important to respect their viewpoint and honor that they have it, but that if you look at part B, you've considered and evaluated their commentary in light of your content knowledge of young adolescent development and your response to the novel. So you can consider and evaluate and be respectful and also disagree if you need to do that. So please feel free to do that and to help your classmates consider things in a different light as needed. But know that that commentary is also required for comment 1, and then you'll see again here it is also for comment 2. So you're responding twice during that time. And as we mentioned in the last description or narration of the general rubric, your initial response, you want to try to make sure that you've done the initial response by the first Sunday of each module, and then sort of work on your second and third, your first and second comments in that second week, and that way you have a chance to read everybody's initial response before you develop your comment. One thing I wanted to point out here that we kind of missed talking about in the first on the first rubric, I believe, is looking at this. Looking at this. Okay. This point value, that's what I'm trying to get to here, the 14 to 15. So while it's a little bit less than the point value here in the initial response, right? It's not significantly so. And so these comments that you're making on these rubrics are also really, really important and count for a significant amount. So you want to make sure that your comments are thorough and substantive and are offering a lot of feedback. So we're really trying to develop the quality of these comments, and so that's why you're only being asked to do two in addition to your initial response. And so make sure that those are you want to work so that those show your content knowledge and really bring in your sort of consideration and evaluation of your classmates' commentary. And so I hope that makes clear the literature discussion. So again, for this rubric, you're going to be doing the book study or the literature, young adolescent novel discussion across all 4 modules of the course. So this will show up all the way through week 4, and I hope that helps you in terms of understanding this rubric. And again, this rubric as well is also worth 50 points total. Okay, thank you very much, and if you have any questions, please post it in the Q&A open discussion.